As someone who's half Filipino, it's very rare to see some sort of Filipino representation in media, but there are a few gems that represent half Filipinos or Filipinos in general. I would say that Filipinos are gradually showing more and more up into media, but I would say that Tagalog and Bisaya speakers are represented more, which is basically because it's more commonly spoken in the Philippines. But as someone who's friends with a Filipina who speaks a different dialect, and there are way more dialects in the Philippines in general, I feel like they should have more representation as a whole. A few examples of singers who are half Filipino are Bruno Mars, Olivia Rodrigo, Biba Doobie, and Jessica Sanchez. You might know Bruno Mars' songs like Uptown Funk, Just the Way You Are, and a few more that have been circling around on the radio, or some diehard fans of Olivia Rodrigo who probably you've heard of Vampire or Deja Vu. And Biba Doobie is really, in my opinion, very underrated. You probably might have heard her song Coffee. That was very popular back in the 2020s, or maybe even The Perfect Pair, or maybe you even heard her recent album that came out, This Is How Tomorrow Moves. Personally, for me, I don't know Jessica Sanchez, but it's nice to hear that there are more Filipinos who are singers in media. I would say that this gives Filipinos way more representation that meets the eye. Personally, for me, I didn't know that Bruno Mars was Filipino until I found out by either searching it or hearing it from my mom. And that it feels nice to feel that you have been represented without even being a singer, but it also encourages other Filipinas or Filipinos who are really known for singing, because in the Philippines we like to sing a lot, karaoke, and we're pretty good, really well singers. So having someone who's Filipino on the radio or just hearing their music be mainstream gives a lot of courage for more talented singers who want to make themselves known in America or in any part of the globe. As someone who didn't grow up with cable and grew up with just the regular Cubo or PBS, I never realized how there was more Filipino representation in shows nowadays on cable, like Cartoon Network or possibly Nickelodeon. As someone who now has seen Steven Universe, there's a specific food that is Filipino, which is the ube roll. And an ube is mostly native to the Philippines, and it's really a well-known root. And my mom once made it without my knowledge of knowing that Steven Universe has also done that. And so when I saw a clip of just the ube roll in Steven Universe, I started jumping for joy and showed my mom hey, Steven literally made something that you made a couple months ago. And with that kind of representation, it feels nice to know that Filipino food can be represented in small ways that don't even show Filipinos, but the love for their food and culture. There's also more recent shows that came out, like Craig of the Creek, where one of the sewer kids, which is the leader, is a Bisaya speaker. And personally, I never knew that because I never watched Craig of the Creek. And this is a movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. There's a character who speaks, I believe, Tagalog to his Lula on the phone. And I stumbled upon it on TikTok, just minding my own business, and all of a sudden, I see someone who's Filipino, and I'm just oh my god, a Filipino is in a show, specifically a movie, that is known for having a lot of representation, especially for Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. It again, makes me feel seen and heard as someone who's Filipino. For someone who doesn't watch a lot of sports, I was very oblivious to the Filipinos in sports nowadays. But as someone like my mom who watches the Green Bay Packers, like an avid fan, she noticed someone with a Filipino flag on their helmet and called me over and said, "Hey, there's someone who's Filipino or has the Filipino flag on their helmet." So I searched it up, and surprisingly, Josh Jacobs, number 8, who's the running back in the Green Bay Packers, is half Filipino. And both me and my mom were really shocked about it, to the point where my mom started cheering for the Green Bay Packers just a tad bit more because there was a Filipino on the team. I've also heard a little bit about Manny Pacquiao. I never really watched any wrestling or any of that, but I have seen him a couple of times when, for example, Logan Paul or Jake Paul, KSI or whatever, was in a boxing match or something. He was brought up, and at that point, I was just surprised how a lot of Filipinos have fallen under my radar. And again, just because we're short doesn't mean that we can do great things or do really cool things that a short person you might not see do. And of course, the Olympics, that has a representative from a country for a specific sport. And both me and my mom would be cheering, of course, for the USA, but we'll also be cheering for the Philippines. And a person who won a gold medal, I believe last year in the gymnastics, was Carlos Yulo. And again, more Filipino representation. It gives people who might not be singers but are really sporty, because Filipinos are also known to being into sports, like, get out of their shell and do something that they feel happy with. A couple of honorable mentions is Filipinos in musicals or like movie adaptations of musicals or something. And I didn't know Vanessa, the actor, played the main girl in High School Musical until I searched it up just recently, and I was just like, what? She's half Filipino, and I didn't know this. And I kind of like High School Musical, and just no one said anything. So, like, honorable mention right here. And lastly, we have the Miss Universe, of course. A representative from each country goes up against... At that point, I really don't know the premises of Miss Universe. I'm just kind of there. My mom watches it a lot. But, of course, we'll be cheering a lot for the Philippines, because the Philippines does have a pretty good streak of winning a lot. And some of you might know the Stephen Harvey incident back in 2015, where he accidentally said someone was the winner when it was actually the Philippines. That was kind of going around the media a bit, and both me and my mom were a little bummed until we found out that she won, and we were just jumping for joy about how the Philippines has won. And that encourages young girls to know that they're pretty, and to know that a person who's representing their country is either half Filipino or full-blooded Filipino. And it encourages girls to do the same thing, to represent their country, and to know that they're beautiful in a pageant or not. So for me, just cause I might not know that there's a lot of Filipinos or half Filipinos represented in more media that I should know of, these examples are pretty big to note. And like, a lot of these are like shockers to me, because again, I didn't know about this until like I started doing this project. So it's surprising, you know? Yeah. Okay, I'm done now. Bye.